Right over here.
Oh. So.
This is for the doors, right?
Yeah, this would be the double door starting. So, quick lesson in framing. Well, first of all, this is not modern dimensional lumber because it's so old.
Okay.
Right? So, a normal 2x4 is 1.5 inches by 3.5, and this is, it's wider than that. It's 1 3/4 by like 3 11/16, which is almost 3 1/4. So it's like 3/16 of an inch larger, which means that you can't match this size lumber with anything that you can buy now. So all the spots that I've patched, well, I guess I didn't have to on that opening, but on this opening here where I had to put in new king studs, they'll have to be ripped down from 2x6s at the right depth and stuff. So the process here is I'll take this window out, and then I'm going to keep this stud is what's called a king stud, which is a full-length stud that goes all the way from the bottom plate to the top plate. And then this is the new king stud I'm putting on this side, which will frame the outside of the door. And then inside of that, these will all become what are called cripples, which will be shorter. The header will set underneath those. And then on the inside of the king studs, there will be what's called a jack stud that will go under the corner of the header. So to give you a better layout of that, you can look over here. So because this is a door, it only has cripples on the top, because obviously the bottom's open for a door opening. So in a window opening here, you have a king stud on the outside, which goes all the way up. See it going up. You have a jack stud on the inside, which the header rests on. These are all cripples above, and then cripples below. And then this is the bottom plate.
So cripples are the ones that don't go all the way.
Cripples are the ones that the header sits on.
Okay.
So the way this works is these cripples distribute load down to the header. The header is a laminated thing. This is 2 2x6s. And then eventually there'll be more in here, but because I haven't decided if we're going to fur these walls out thicker, I don't know yet. So eventually, if we do nothing more, I'll put a piece of 1/2 inch plywood in here yet to build out the thickness. But if I fur this out, then there'll be a piece of foam, hard rigid foam, which makes it what's called an insulated header, and that creates a thermal break. Because what can happen is on the outside of the house, cold air hits the siding transmits cold air to the sheathing, which is this. The sheathing transmits cold energy to the stud, and the stud transmits cold energy into the house, right? And so insulation creates a break between that. And so putting a piece of foam in here creates a thermal break between the header, which is the most massive frame piece in the exterior wall, and the interior wall. So that's where we're at. This will be a bay window, which you saw in the blog if you were reading. And then this other side here will be 2 casement windows, which will crank out this way. So, part of old construction that was shared with me, at least, is that you need to salvage what you can, because, for instance, the sheathing, this is all spaced, what's called shiplap sheathing, and so it's kind of a unique dimension also, like the studs are, so you can't really find anything that's the same size. There's no plywood that's that same thickness. So fortunately, when we took apart the upstairs, we took it apart very carefully, and so I've been reusing all that to patch in the stuff, like this piece, and actually most of this sidewall here was all cut out and then replaced with new. And then the outside of the house here, you can't see it on the outside because of the plywood, but all of these pieces along this side, from here down, are all replaced. So it's the old stuff that was somewhere else in the house that I put back on so that it would be the same thickness. And then some of the rotted out pieces that were on this side, all being reused. And then these studs, these cripples down here, and then this bottom plate is interior lumber that I saved, so I wouldn't have to rip down so much stuff. So anyway, here we are.